Stories have been a part of human culture for as long as there has been a human culture, if you go back to the dawn of time. And that's exactly what I plan on doing. Hi, I'm Nate Krieger, and this year for my capstone project, well, my first idea for a capstone project, I plan on analyzing the changes in continuity of storytelling over time, starting with a focus on myths and folklores going as far back as the Odyssey, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Icelandic poetic and prose Eddas, as well as several Uzbeki myths and several Persian ones as well. Really any myths I can get my hand on, and then analyzing how those stories have changed over time, whether we have the same plot lines but different ways of conveying the stories. I mean, there are far less poetic epics these days, or whether the methods of telling the stories have stayed the same but the plot lines are different. My main research question is this: how can contemporary literary and poetic styles be applied to create revitalized versions of traditional myths and folktales in order to determine and demonstrate the timelessness of their stories and the importance of their influence on today's storytelling? I plan on researching these myths that I've just mentioned and writing a few poems and short stories of my own, ideally taking inspiration from the plots and the character types and the stereotypes that these characters had in old times of storytelling and bringing them to a modern and more contemporary style of writing, whether that be poetry or literature or really anything in between. Because as we know, our storytelling today is very different than how we told it back then, but I'd like to see if what we're telling is roughly the same. So that's what I'll do. I'll research and read many epics written in ancient times and maybe a little more modern than ancient times. And then I'll write some poetry and things of my own, drawing on this influence to show the timelessness of these plot lines, but just how much our method of telling these stories has changed. Thank you.